guys sitting in a dark room that smells like bad cucumbers.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Inconceivable!
Now featuring 11 listeners.
This is the Unique Geek.
You slimy scumbag, get on your face and give me 25.
This is the Unique Geek.
And welcome to another edition of 50 Days of DragonCon, the podcast that doesn't know how to count to 50. And joining me, as always, is Lee.
Hey, how are you? It's weird. I'm on this side and you're on that side.
You want me to fix that? There we go. How's that?
There we go. I feel ever so much better now. My whole life is set. Sorry, folks that are listening, not watching the podcast. What is the term for it if people are watching? Wow, what is it? A live cast? Is that what it's called?
A stream,
a stream,
just
whatever. Okay, cool. We'll call it whatever.
Things.
This is great. It's as we record this. Oh dear heaven! It's 9 days, John.
9 days. Yes, that is
9
accurate.
days.
And you've got a few hours in there, so.
Yeah, well, that's true. It was 8. It's actually 8 days.
Oh, actually, you're right. It's 8 hours. 8 hours. Or sorry, 8 days. Only 8 hours. 8 days and 21 hours.
That actually got to my heart because I was like, I have not packed one thing if it's 8 hours. Oh no, and I don't even pack that much. Yeah. So, I want to remind people of something because if they've gotten the email, that'll be great. But if they haven't, or if like this is their first time. This really is, there's a lot of family-friendly programming that is going on. Military sci-fi media will have card games and board games going on. There's a hands-on science power hour on Sunday in the science track. There's an intro to tabletop role-playing games. No, my husband is not leading it. He's already done that. He's already indoctrinated the children around our ages. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there's going to be some kids drawing stuff, and there's going to be a creative puppet workshop, which is dragons. I don't think I can go because I'm not. It says it's fun for all ages, but and then on Sunday there's a robotics demo. Also, and I just saw this was the big one I wanted to tell people about, that there is a DragonCon kids sketchbook, and the kids sketchbook is available for free for kids to take to select comic and art show tables, artist tables that have that symbol on the signage, and they'll draw in that sketchbook for the kid, giving them a really cool and kind of unique little thing, which I think is kind of cool. So that's it.
And Zan points out that the parade TMI email has gone out. Is the annual email sent out by the parade director. It's got lots of helpful info. So if you're in the parade is what really where that.
Oh, if you're in the parade, or
you would have gotten that. You should have gotten that email. Yeah. If not, check with your group leader if you're not a group leader, or contact the parade folks.
Check with somebody. The other thing is,
just find somebody. Ask your neighbor. Go next door. Knock on their door.
Well, wait until you get to DragonCon. Ask somebody. I do want to let this know is that they are serious. If you get to the parade and your group's already gone, we're not like stopping the parade to help you get in. Every year that I've had to herd the cats at the parade, the issue there is that people will all of a sudden show up and go, oh, I thought we could be here like right as it started. And I'm like, your group's already like lined up and down the road. So if that happens, you really, really, really need to be there no later than 9 o'clock to find your group, to get comfortable, to get settled. That just helps you a lot instead of kind of like trying to run fast. And if you don't want to take the DragonCon bus, which my understanding will pick up at the Marriott, you can get on MARTA and you're going to go north on the north-south line, and you go up to North Avenue, and then it's like a block and a half to walk. So that would be a really easy way to get there as well. You're on MARTA. You only have to get a one-way trip, so do it that way.
Sweet.
Right, John? There we go. That's sweet.
Right. And we will be later. We'll be talking with the parade director. I think it's tomorrow, isn't it?
It is tomorrow. We get to talk to Annie tomorrow about the parade. I don't know who the parade grand marshal is, so I can't wait to find that out.
It's The Rock.
It is not. It may be a rock. We can probably
there may be a rock in the road.
A rock in. We can.
There could be a rock in the car. Who knows?
Right. We'll give it to whoever is driving, and do that. But John,
yes.
as you did that 8-hour thing, which kind of got my heart a little tense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming up on time to get in line because some people like to get in line on that day for registration.
Mm-hmm.
And when you register, there's all this stuff going on. There's a DragonCon store there. There is also disability services. And we have the new director, Cherie, who is the new disability services director because Cherie as I said, Cherie tricked her into doing it. And she said, no, it really wasn't that. And then we also have Todd. We have Todd, who has been on this so many times before, and we love talking to Todd. So, hi, y'all. It's so wonderful to see you.
Oh, it's so lovely to be back.
Oh, it's so lovely. Yeah, so lovely. Are you ready? Are both of y'all just ready for con tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, we're not ready tomorrow.
No. You're not ready tomorrow?
Yeah, maybe the day after tomorrow.
The day, okay.
Or 2 days after that.
2 days,
or 7 days after tomorrow.
7 days after that.
You're right.
A week after tomorrow.
How about maybe Sunday afternoon?
Well, 6 days for me because I got to get up at the crack of dawn to get on a plane.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's an early flight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
6 a.m. out of Buffalo, New York, for those people paying attention at home.
What? Say that one more time.
6 a.m. out of Buffalo, New York, for those people paying attention at home.
Do you have to? Is it a straight or is it a connecting?
This one is a connecting. There's a 2-hour layover in JFK.
Oh boy!
For no apparent reason.
For no apparent reason. The flight home is direct.
God. Oh, JFK! It smells funny in that airport. Or it used to when I went there.
It smells funny in that airport.
It does.
That's exactly what I want to know from the world traveler that is you, Lee. This is one.
No, I'm not that much of a world traveler, but I have been to JFK and it smelled funny. I also hate O'Hare because I have never ever gone into O'Hare and left to the next destination on time. Never. Many a time. I will fly almost through. I don't like O'Hare. Okay, so we're not going to talk about airports. We're going to talk about disability services.
Yep.
And so, Cherie, what is disability services?
We try to help make the con as crappy experience for everyone equally, whether you've got a disability, a challenge, or whether you don't.
It's my favorite line for 50 Days of DragonCon. It's our job to make sure that people with disabilities have as crappy an experience as any other DragonCon attendee can expect.
There you go.
And we excel at it too.
You do excel at it. You do. You excel very well at that. I'm going to ask now. I know you're with registration, which is in the
Cortland Grand,
the Cortland Grand, formerly the Sheraton,
which was formerly the Sheraton. I keep calling it the Courtyard Grand, the Cortland Grand.
The Cortland Grand.
It's not even registration anymore, though, Lee. Remember, it's ticket pickup or badge pickup.
Badge pickup.
Yeah, badge pickup.
Membership pickup. Badge pickup.
Yep,
Sorry,
yep.
It's not registration anymore. You're all right. Oh Lord, I'll never get all this.
But we're just outside of there in the lobby area, so we're easy to find.
We didn't have the heart to change our department's name with the name of the hotel changing and registration changing its name. We thought maybe next year we'd do something in a foreign language. If anybody has any suggestions.
My son speaks Mandarin. I can let him chat with you, Todd. There you go.
Now, would be interesting.
Todd, you're now on here. Sometimes there is also a way to register for disability services support at another hotel. Is that going to happen this year, Oslo?
Correct. Definitely for Thursday. Right? If for some reason your disability prevents you from coming all the way to the Sheraton, you can go to the Eternals area in the Marriott, and a disability services staffer will be there. They can do almost everything.
Excellent.
And we'll get into what we do is probably one of your next questions.
Okay. Well, and that will be a next question. And if people don't know where the Eternals badge pickup is, it is in the Marriott on the lobby floor.
Yep.
So when you come in the lobby, you go to the right. There's a hallway down there, and you'll ask somebody where Eternals badge pickup is, and bingo, there you are. So you're all
probably
good.
At the top of the ramp.
Right. And probably at the top of the ramp. You're exactly right. And one of the questions was just also, what are the hours for disability services in either the Marriott or
it's real easy. We follow the same hours as registration.
Excellent.
/ badge pickup.
Badge pickup.
Yeah.
Same hours. There
She's
we
the
go.
new boss. It's her job to correct me on everything.
There you go. Hey, she's not making you go get a bagel. Calm
That's
down,
right.
dude. Just be nice.
I wanted to go up the stairs to get the bagel, though.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. And that would be, that's a problem in some of the hotels. So now the question is, what does disability what is register? How do you request disability services? And what are they?
This
What
one's
are the
for you,
different
Cherie.
groups?
You're in the big box.
Okay, you just show up. We don't need documentation. We ask you a few questions, and from there, we try to determine what we can help you with. Somebody that maybe, has mobility issues and can't stand in line long, or can't, climb over other people to get to the middle seat in the middle row or something. We can give them a sticker that is seat in line, end of row, so they can sit on the end of any row, fifth row or back, in the large ballrooms, the large events. And while they're waiting to get in, they can have a seat in line.
That's right. There you go. There you go. Sorry, keep going.
That's by far the most popular, one we have. And then there's wheelchair seating, which is pretty obvious. You're in a wheelchair or a scooter. You get to sit, park your vehicle in one of those cutouts throughout the room. Somebody with maybe a visual issue but doesn't need to get really close to the stage, maybe the screens are better, the big screens. So with that badge, it's proximity, you can sit 50 feet or closer to the large screens throughout the room.
Yes, and I honestly, sometimes those large screens are so much easier to see. It's a better visual, honestly.
Well, the cameras are supposed to try to follow what's going on. So you're not looking back and forth all over the place, trying to figure out, okay, who's going to speak next? The camera does it for you.
Excellent. All right. And now, Todd, what determines whether I get one of these different things? How do you all determine that? I know you talk to them, but.
Well, that's based on the answers to the questions we ask you, because we're going to be talking about how we can reasonably accommodate you. And the real definition of reasonable accommodation is about leveling the playing field. What is the thing that you need that will level the playing field for you to participate, right? So we give you the reasonable accommodation, one, that is best to implement, right? And two, we got to be able to make sure that what we're doing is leveling the field, right? So we encourage everybody. We don't need, Sherry's absolutely right. We don't need your doctor's notes. I wouldn't know a doctor from Tennessee to save my life, right? So,
exactly. Yeah.
But what we do need you to do, what we do need you to do, is be honest with us about about the problems you're having, so that we can figure out the best reasonable accommodation for you. Sherry gave you some examples, but we also have blanks, because believe it or not, every once in a while, somebody needs a reasonable accommodation that we haven't planned for a sticker for yet.
Okay.
One of our most common ones is may re-enter after exiting. Right? Because we have some folks that might need to leave to use the bathroom to do a disability-related task.
Right.
And they leave, but then somebody will tell them that they can't come back in. Right? And we don't really want that. So That's one of the most common write-ins we have.
Okay. All right. That's cool. And then I want to say something here too. I go to disability service, have for the past couple of years. I have some chronic health issues that you might not see them, and do remember that not all disabilities are visual, and we'll talk about that a lot. But it was very, very helpful for a couple of things when I could be on the end row and I could sit down if I was waiting in a line or something like that. And it really did help. I mean, it made me so that I didn't want to cry at the end of a day on certain days because of the pain.
We don't want you to cry.
No, I don't want to cry either. It really ruins the mascara. It's just awful.
And there's somebody that's listening to this podcast who is saying right now, this is wonderful, but I don't need you. This is wonderful, but I got this. And then you're going to get to DragonCon, and Saturday morning, you're going to get up and go, no, I don't got this.
No, I don't got this.
See, and then you're going to come to Disability Services, and we promise, because I won't remember ever having said this, we won't say, I told you so.
Right.
Right?
Because you didn't tell them so. We're telling everybody so. We didn't tell that person so.
That's right.
Exactly.
We don't want anybody to cry. We want everybody to have a good time at DragonCon, and that's why we're here.
There you go. Awesome. Awesome.
Now, I know Cherie needs to talk about the other sticker that we give out for people.
Oh, Cherie, what's the other sticker?
There's actually...
Which one have we left out?
We left out 2 of them.
Okay, there we go.
Safe space for service animals, and that does not include emotional support animals, which are not allowed in con space. Service animals, if they come through us, we ask the questions, and there will be a purple wristband somewhere on the dog's collar, leash, or if they have a harness or something on the harness, and that little wristband says that we've already asked all the questions that Americans with Disabilities Act allows us to ask, and nobody else has to ask any more questions. So they're allowed in, and we have spaces along the outsides of the larger event rooms so that the dog can be in a safe space and not be trampled by feet. Now that has to be approved by me, Todd, or some other people that are there, and that's no problem.
Our senior staff.
Our senior staff, that's right. The other one is sight lines, which is usually for people who are deaf and need to be able to have clear sight lines to the interpreter. Now, on occasion, there's other exceptions made depending on case by case, Yep. But we want to be the equal playing field, the level playing field. And somebody who is totally, absolutely what we call normal, but who's normal coming to DragonCon anyway, maybe they get a front row seat. They should get a front row seat occasionally.
Right.
So that one is restricted by and given permission by senior staff as well.
And just to go back to do the service dog thing just for a minute, right? Because the people with emotional support dogs at home are probably going, wait, I can't bring my emotional support dog? If you're staying in one of our hotels, you absolutely can, but the dog is confined to the room because your legal protections extend to your housing or dwelling for an emotional support animal, right? So we definitely want you to have the same emotional support you would have at home, right? Because we want you to have that so you can feel comfortable and come to DragonCon.
Right.
But we will enforce the ADA with regard to service animals versus emotional support dogs. And we're sorry to say that because I'm not talking for Cherie here, but I love dogs. I love when they come to visit, right? Even though I can't talk to them and I can't distract them because you really shouldn't. But I love to see them anyway, especially they dress them up, right?
Yes.
We have some people that dress the dogs up, right?
My dog is going to come dressed up as a seeing eye guide dog.
Oh.
I hear
Gonna
those
have the
costumes
harness and
are-
everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, she's got
costumes
the
are really
harness and
expensive.
everything.
All right.
The you know, it's interesting that you mentioned the support, and of course we'd love for everyone to have whatever they need to make them as comfortable as possible. But there was just an article today, or maybe I read it yesterday, at Publix, which is a local chain here in the South of grocery stores. That they've had to start putting up signs because they are only allowing service animals in, and they specifically call out that, you know, emotional support animals can't be in the store. And I guess that had become a problem. So it's not, you know, it's not something that DragonCon's doing to punish anybody. It's something that goes across all areas, and it's unfortunate.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And some emotional support animals are really, really well behaved, but some of them are not. They haven't had any formal training, so you know, and to be able to deal with public situations, especially like DragonCon, because there really isn't much of anything like it. Even with service animals, we tell everybody that comes through our department, give your service animal a break, give your dog a break, go out, go find a quiet place, just you and your dog. Let them regroup, because it's a lot to ask.
Yeah, you think it's a lot to ask?
People make a lot of noise.
Yeah. If you think it's a lot to ask just for a human to be walking around in there, imagine what the dog is feeling, right? When they're, you know, at ankle length or ankle or knee height, I guess would be more appropriate.
And I wanted to ask you a question. Did we talk about the actual ADA definition? I know I had internet issues. The ADA definition of a support animal, because there's dogs and there's one other one.
See, it's a trick question. It's a trick question, Lee. There is no ADA definition of an emotional support dog. There is only an ADA definition of a service animal.
Service animal. Sorry,
I said the wrong term. Is a dog that is trained to perform a task to assist a person with a disability or mitigate a disabling condition.
Such as something like with my dog, she is a very well-trained guide dog, but she would not make a good seizure alert dog because she hasn't been trained for that task.
Right. Well, and Todd, last year when we talked about something that the other thing is that a pony can also be
miniature
trained.
horses. Anybody out there that's got a miniature horse that wants to come to DragonCon, haven't seen any of them yet.
That is,
We'd love to have you there.
Love to have you.
Right. Love to have you there. But that's the other one.
Sarah,
and you know why they allowed miniature horses, right?
No, why?
Because Sebastian from Parks and Rec. 50? 50?
Yes. 50. Because they lived for 50 years.
Well, so then could you have an emotional support tortoise? I mean, those live even longer. I mean,
emotional support, you mean service?
I mean, service tortoise.
Okay, can you train a tortoise?
I don't know, maybe. Who knows?
No.
It'll just take a long time.
You can't have a service tortoise, right? Because you wouldn't be able to train them to do anything. You could most certainly have an emotional support tortoise.
Right.
Back in Buffalo at my regular day job, at one point I met a guy whose service animal, this is before they changed it to dogs, was a bird. The bird used to sit on his shoulder. The guy was blind. He would walk with a white cane, and when he would approach something that would be an obstruction, the bird would make noise.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Came up behind him to get his attention, the bird would make noise.
Oh, that's cool.
Or like peck his cheek. Right?
And birds can be trained like that. That is very, very true.
The bird was wonderful. And then in 2010, when they updated the ADA, they made service animals only dogs and miniature horses.
Dogs and miniature horses.
You cannot house train a bird, though. They're going to do whatever they do wherever they do it.
Yes,
that's one of the criteria.
And he had a little thing for his shoulder to deal with that.
That sounds like a baby bib.
Brandon asks about emotional support Ewoks. Are those permitted at DragonCon?
How well are they trained?
Well, yeah.
They eat people, John. We're not bringing the Ewoks that eat people. I keep telling people this. They're very cute. But do remember, They
Emotional
wanted
support
to
Ewoks.
They can keep them in their room.
Yeah, they could do that just as long as you don't.
You
send
can
them out
have
to
your
eat
emotional
somebody.
support Ewok in your room. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, keep the support. Yeah, keep the emotional support Ewok in your room. You can call him, and he'll do the Yub Nub song for you.
And also Sarah Rose points out, and we kind of alluded to this too, that not all disabilities affect your physical ability to do things.
Yeah.
So it may not be a physical disability, to which Brandon points out too, that last year Todd helped the con experience better by helping his pregnant wife with a disability sticker, which one could argue that's also need of special
for
consideration.
all the folks. If your doctor identifies that there may be a medical problem with pregnancy, that can qualify as a disability. You have to come
Right,
see
a
us.
high-risk pregnancy, but pregnancy by itself is not a disability.
Correct.
But there you go.
And Sharon pitches no murder bears, so she prefer to have no murder bears.
We appreciate that. They mess up the disability services area something awful, and we gotta clean it up.
They don't clean up after themselves. It's really sad. They just throw those bones and then beat them with their little other bones. They beat the skulls. It's awful.
And the hotel staff don't want to clear it up either. So.
Oh, I see Zan's question. This is a really good one.
Zan's question is awesome. Do you have any tips for using the elevators?
Ooh.
Okay. The best thing we could say about using the elevators is do your best to plan ahead, because despite everyone's best intentions, there will probably be a wait. Okay?
Right.
As people with disabilities who need to travel the elevators, especially in our hotels to get back to our rooms, right? I tend to plan ahead and make sure that I have a little of everything that I need to carry around with me when I leave the room in the morning. So now it is DragonCon policy that is posted that people must give up space in an elevator for a person using a mobility device or someone who needs an elevator. However, we have some problems enforcing that policy sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
And that can lead to some waits. So I encourage you to plan in advance. I also encourage you to, it's perfectly okay to use a loud voice to ask people to exit, right? After that, you don't really need to get too much louder, because if they're not going to move, they're probably not going to move. And if you have a problem, right?
If you're getting in an elevator and you see somebody that's been waiting, be proactive. Make them a space.
Yeah.
Just
it goes along with the basic rule. Don't be an a-hole. Just don't be a jerk.
Rule.
Well,
That's
I don't
right.
like that one because everybody has an a-hole. Not everybody.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Right.
So I like that one. Just
I
don't
get
be a
educated
jerk.
every year.
Don't be a jerk.
That's right.
Don't be a jerk. Yes.
Don't be
everybody
a
knows
jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. And again, folks, as somebody who has had to use a wheelchair on a couple of occasions this past year, it's not. Don't kind of watch out. Don't push them. Don't shove. Let them in the elevators. John and I say this every year. Please let them in the elevators. Yeah,
I have the option of stairs and escalators. That's
the
only way.
And I promise you, some of those people that if they could understand how wonderfully sticky that floor is up until the con suite at the Hyatt, they'd love to know how sticky those floors are. But unfortunately, that's not physically possible. So guess what, folks? Don't be a jerk.
So did we answer your elevator question? I hope we did.
I think you did. I think that's all we really can say. So there we go. I also wanted to ask something else. So now you're going to make everybody just as exactly as calm and happy and unhappy as everybody else. You're going to level that field.
Yep.
We're going to do our best.
You're going to do your best. Is there anything that you would say? I mean, we talked about elevators. We also said, do remember not all disabilities or service needs are, you can't always see them. Is there something else from your experience? And I've known you both at con since I've been going. Is there something from you that you would say, this is something that I wish everybody could kind of keep in their head at some point?
Well, we do once in a while. We have people that come, can I pick up my stick? Can I get stickers from my husband? I've got his badge. He has a disability. The thing is, we can't talk to one person about another person's disability. It's a violation of the HIPAA Act. So we need, if they can't get to us, we can send somebody to them. But we can't just give somebody else stickers for a person we haven't spoken to.
Right.
Right.
And
Todd.
My piece of advice, there used to be an old anti-gambling ad, know your limit, play within it. Right?
I like that. Yeah.
Really think about how your disability affects what you want to do at DragonCon. Give it some genuine thought. And I swear to God, play the worst case scenario for yourself before you're in a crowd of 60,000 people. Right?
And may I give an example of that?
Sure.
My husband had to have knee surgery many, many years ago, before times, right? Before COVID. And he had to have knee surgery. And he came to con, but he couldn't use one of those little things because of how it was in his knee. He couldn't put that pressure on it. So he had just like the little scooter with the knee sitting on it. He had to actually have the full wheelchair. And I said to him very early, I was like, are you sure you don't want to get an electric one? No, I'll be fine. I can push. I can do this myself. He wasn't very happy come Friday night.
Because he discovered something that only us long-term wheelchair users know.
What?
Right?
Yeah.
Carpet is our mortal enemy.
Carpet is
right?
There you go.
Right.
Yes.
Not to mention the hills.
Yeah.
Not to mention the hills, and not to mention that Atlanta sidewalk isn't always nice and flat.
Yes.
We have a lot of trees downtown, which is great, but then they have roots, and then sidewalks aren't flat.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a secret, though, for people that are using wheelchairs and scooters. If you're on the street level, let's say on Cortland, and there's that parking garage between the Hilton and the Sheraton, Cortland Grand, there's an elevator in there. If you go up to the 7th floor, it comes out onto a big open crosswalk. It's covered, but it's open to the weather.
It's a level open crosswalk. It's what we call a habit trail.
Into the food court, and you can go with that. You can go through the habit trails to go to the Hilton, the Marriott, and the Hyatt.
Right.
Yep.
And if you go through that, it's much easier if you go through to get to the Hyatt to get to the Westin.
Right.
So you got that. And yes, that is a wonderful, wonderful 7th floor. That is a great parking deck because again, it's also one that's great to get to your car because you're like, I'm worried about X, Y, or Z or whatever. It's great to be able to say, oh, okay, it's fine. I can walk across it. It's well lit. Usually they cleaned it up pretty well. It's always a really nice one. So it does kind of smell like Atlanta downtown if it's really hot and musty, but that's Atlanta. We're all going to smell like sweat. Come trust us.
That's just the way it is.
If you're following my advice and thinking about your worst case scenario.
Yes.
Right. And there's a question you want to ask or something you want to talk around because you want to figure out how to handle it. Right. The official DragonCon Discord has a disability services area that you can go to ask us a question. Facebook has an official DragonCon with disabilities group that you can join and you can ask a question. And our faithful and knowledgeable staff will faithfully ping one of the two of us so that Cherie and I will answer you.
I love it. That is there you go. There we go.
Right?
Yep.
But no, we're happy to talk to you about what we can tell you about our experiences specifically if you've got a question that could help you in navigating DragonCon better. The only thing we ask is, if we give you advice and it works out, tell other people. If we give you advice and it doesn't work out, tell us.
Right.
Because maybe there's a problem that needs fixing.
Right.
And for those folks that think that all we do is sit in the Sheraton and give stickers,
they don't.
That's a lot of what we do.
Yeah,
but
they do more.
If you've noticed a change in the DragonCon app this week,
I don't know. Have I?
Was there?
You can thank people who went to the official disability services part of the DragonCon Discord and complained about concern over contrast.
Oh, yeah.
And our lovely app designer worked with us to have options to fix it.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we want to encourage folks to remember that we care about all of that, including the app, which we heartily recommend people use, by the way.
The app is very important.
Oh, it is. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And so that is very, very helpful. There's a lot of colors and a lot of contrast. And the contrast does even help some of us with our that are, wearing those progressive lenses now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Zan says the background behind the icons is now black, not the unreadable riot of colors it was before.
Yeah.
Zan, thank you. You're my guy.
And it is really a beautiful background. It's a beautiful background with all these beautiful colored dragon scales, but yeah, it was kind of hard to read.
Yeah, buttons get lost in it. That's why it is what it is now.
Yes, they do. So awesome. Okay. John, is there anything we have forgotten to ask these?
I don't know. Actually, I'll ask our guest. Is there anything else that we need to know about disability services that we haven't covered yet? We've talked about where you're located. We can repeat that again. But the process, which is basically just show up and answer some questions. Is there anything else that we should keep in mind or that you would like us to know about disability services?
Here's something that I normally should say, but sometimes I forget. Thank you for reminding me, John. Disability services, to a vast degree, is operated by people with disabilities themselves.
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to Saturday and you're mad about something we did, and you get on Discord or Facebook because you want to talk to other people about what happened, you need to remember that we are you and you are us.
And every one of them is a volunteer.
Exactly.
Every one of them. Even the dog.
That's right.
Oh, no, that's the one thing.
The dogs really don't have a choice, which is why, they need a union. You know what I mean?
Poor thing. We're in the South. We're a right to work, so not gonna happen. But I did want to also say this.
Astrid just wants her ice cubes. If she gets ice cubes, she's a happy camper.
She's a happy she's such a good one. But that's what we're talking about is Astrid right now. Because, folks, when you see the dogs, they're working. Please, please, don't bother them if they're working. If you ask if you can pet the dog and they say no, the dog is working, don't be a jerk. Also, small children love dogs. And sometimes will try to go and grab the doggy. Please help. Keep the kids away. It's fine to ask because Sherry and I were talking about this earlier. And Sherry, you go on. You give me some more on that because there you go. It's yours. Astrid,
okay, well,
pet.
With my dog, I have a harness rule, and I've had it with all of my dogs, is if the harness is on, the dog is working. If the harness is off, she can be a quote-unquote real dog. She knows the difference.
She is.
But not everybody has those same rules. Always ask. If you want to interact with the dog, always ask, because people have different rules.
Mm-hmm. There you
Just
go.
don't walk up and start petting, because you wouldn't want that person to walk up and start petting your kid.
Or you.
Very, very good point.
Very true. Very true.
Very true.
Unraveled children will be given an espresso. So be careful, folks. There are espressos. There are lots and lots of coffee shops downtown. We can find espressos.
Brandon also had a question, and it's an interesting one. I think we may have addressed it in years past, but I don't know that we have tonight. What about companions of disability sticker holders? Are they separated from their friends to stand in line? How does that work?
We can one companion per person with a disability, and if it's a family with minor children, we do not split up the family. The family can stay together. Now, this doesn't mean a teenager brings in 15 of his friends as his companions. He can pick one.
One.
That's
Uno.
right.
Uno. One. That's great. And also, can you repeat the days and times that disability services will be in the Marriott? We know that they will be in the Cortland Grand every time that badge pickup is going on. But what about at the Marriott?
So definitely Thursday from, I think it's 9 to 9, right? On
That
registrations
sounds about
open
right.
9 to 9.
Yeah.
Right. And then here's the thing, Friday to Sunday, okay, you can either go to the Eternals area and ask them to page us, and we will come there and meet you. Or if you really want it fast, go to the Atrium Ballroom, and the captains in the ballrooms can do basic stickers. They can't approve service animals or do anything custom, but they can approve basic stickers, right?
Excellent.
Which is that other part of, I get up Saturday morning and it's too late and it's too far to go to the Sheraton. What do I do? Right? Well, if you're in the Hyatt, go to the Centennial and see our Centennial captains. Now, if they can't do it right away because we're seating people in a panel, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
They're going to do it once the panel begins, or they're going to get me or one of my capable minions to come over and help out. So there's always a way for us to help you out.
Excellent. 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 So you have options if there are issues getting to the Cortland Grand and or to the Eternal Badge area, because oops, Kish can't, sometimes it's just difficult.
And John and Lee, thank you so much for having us on. This is actually kind of the beginning of my DragonCon experience. I wait for this, right?
Yes, we wait for you too, because you always make me giggle. You make me giggle. Like,
have I made you giggle tonight?
You never made me giggle.
Good.
I love it. You win. Yes, and my dog was over here going, I don't understand why I can't go. And I'm like, because you are neither an emotional support animal or a service animal in any way, shape, or form.
Demons of destruction, right?
He's a sweet boy, and we're very happy he's a part of our family.
Wonderful.
Ta-da. There we go.
Yep, there you go.
And for all the listeners out there, we look forward to seeing you.
We
do.
We can't wait to see everybody. I get to get hugs.
Thanks for having us.
Like it. Well, we thank you guys so much. So, John, now this is your part. I'll be quiet.
Okay. Well, so we would like to thank you very much again for coming in. And just real quick, one more time, that it's at the Cortland
Grand.
I want to say Marriott. I was even not even getting the right brand right.
Yeah.
The Cortland Grand near badge pickup. See, I got it right.
Yes,
and also on, especially on Thursday, in the Eternals area, which is in the Marriott.
And on the lobby level of the Marriott. You come in the front doors, turn to the right.
So either of those places, you can find disability services. You can find Todd. Just listen out. He's probably yelling at somebody. No. Todd's looking around.
Loud. He's a little loud, but I'm a little loud too, so it works out really well.
I was not implying you were loud, Todd. I was just implying.
That's okay. I can be loud if you want.
No, that's okay. He's not going to be here this year, but I'll help you remember for next time.
Yeah, I'm out this year. Sorry. Various reasons. Anyway, we go
We're
through that
gonna miss you, John.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it too.
Yes,
it's over. We still haven't figured out what the actual first year I went, but it's definitely been 25 years consecutive I've been going.
I'm going to take one of our sticker information sheets and put your name on it in memorial to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he has bad knees too.
All right, so basically what I'm just trying to say is thank you for taking time out of your day. I know it gets busy this time of year, especially for those that are leading departments. And we really appreciate it. We appreciate the service that you all provide. And all the volunteers. Again, remember, this is important, folks. These folks are volunteers. Well, actually, Zan points out I am getting a streaming membership. I guess technically that can keep my streak unbroken. Maybe.
Hey, we're into technicalities.
I think so. I think it's a streak. I still think it's a streak anyway. As long as you get a dragon, John, and I'm going to get you a dragon. So there we go.
Appreciate it. But anyway, until next time, for Cherie, Todd, Lee, this is John saying until next time, peace.
And bye.
And I probably should play that last bit there. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Be careful in jail.
This was a production of The Unique Geek. Call our comment line at 8133210TUG. That's 81332108884. Email us at thegeeks@theuniquegeek.com or 50days@theuniquegeek.com. Follow The Unique Geek on Facebook and Twitter. This podcast is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike license.
Bye. Zan points out a very good point. A streaming membership is still a membership. The word membership is right in the name.
There you go.
Apply.
Nub,
There
nub.
we go.
Nub, nub. Butter, butter, bud. Num, nub. Boom, boom.